meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Please turn off any of your devices so that we don't get a lot of buzzing and beeping. And if you could call the roll, please.
Commissioner Uranga,
Here.
Commissioner Lear,
Here.
Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Fisher,
Here.
Commissioner Acosta,
Present.
Vice Chair Zerniak, Chair Zarges.
Here. Approval or changes to the agenda? Can we get a motion on the agenda, please?
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lear, second by Commissioner Fisher to approve the agenda. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Approval of the minutes, January 8th, 2026.
I move for approval of the minutes of January 8, 2026.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Fisher, second by Commissioner Lear to approve the minutes. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? New business, case SU 25-023.
Good morning.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
For our first and only case today.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm over here looking at them. Good morning.
Please raise your right hand, state your name and address for the record.
Christopher Valencia, 845 North Motel Boulevard.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here we go. For our first and only case today, we've got SU 25053. The owner is Carolyn June Horner Revocable Living Trust, and the applicant is Miss Carolyn Horner. She's at 2806 North Valley Drive, north of Iridium Springs, in a T2 rural zone, and her request is for a special use permit to operate a primitive campground. Here's a location map. Here's the subject parcel, the Rio Grande right here, and you can tell the subject property butts up to Rio Grande. And just so you know that the applicant's home is right across the road right here. Here's the land use aerial as well. So the subject property is 29.92 acres within the T2 zone. It's been owned by the family for the past about 100 years. Prior to February 2017, the subject parcel was zoned as PD, Performance District, and it was intended for the flexibility for the land use activities while protecting the residents and the property value. In December of 2016, the UDC and the official zoning map of Doña County was approved, and it went into effect in February 2017, where the subject property was zoned a T2 rural zone from PD. The northern portion of the property is being used as agricultural plot. The entire agricultural plot is fenced off, and the southern portion is what's being requested for the SUP for the primitive campground. I zoomed in to the parcel close-up, and this is the area being requested for the primitive campground. Here is the agricultural parcel that is, again, fenced off from anybody able to access that. The entire zone, the entire area is a T2. There's a little T3 parcel down there, but it's all T2. And I do want to point this out as well. It's also a T2 across the river. That is their property as well. Mrs. Horner visited the Office of Community Development on October 30th of last year to turn in an application for an SUP to operate her primitive campground. Just so a little bit of facts and stuff for the request, there's no campground services on site. The amenities offered other than just picnic tables that are there. The only structure on site is a pump shed, but that's not per se being used for the for customers or anything. It's just there covering the pump site, the pump itself with the water spigot. There are 2 gates for ingress and egress on site. The water's edge is blocked off by telephone poles, so the water's edge cannot be approached by any sort of vehicular access. You can walk up to it, but you can't drive up to it. The entire subject property is fenced off, aside from where it's open in the Rio Grande River. I'll show you later that the fencing also goes across the shore, and it goes on the other side of the shore as well. There's no designated area for parking or camping, et cetera, just because it's primitive, so it's just a piece of land. And again, the owner's private residence is immediately across the road from Highway 185. Here's the overall site plan. The 29 acres here. This is her sibling up north. And then this is the area being spoken about for the primitive campground. I did add some arrows just to show you where the ingress and egress is. The pump house is right here, but I'll show you some pictures of this area. There were 13 letters of notification mailed out to the surrounding area, both on November 21st and December 22nd. Because there's opposition, that's why we scheduled this case itself. The 3 letters of opposition were sent in, as well as 1 letter of support for this SUP. The agenda was posted in the Oscar Sun, and the signs were posted in a timely manner. So just some of the comments here that will be addressed during the presentation. Engineering did mention some comments, as well as zone codes, as well as IBWC, International Boundaries of Water, IBWC, forgot the C. Here's the area of notification, about 13 people here. And subject parcel. This first image here to the left, it's at the property line, the intersection there at the corner of 185, and I'm trying to get the property line the entire way down to the river in the background. The right side is not the subject property. The telephone poles and the tree-lined fence is the beginning of her property. The fence terminates there at the Rio Grande, and you can see where the fence is ending there at the river's edge. And at the river's edge, it actually continues, the fence continues on the opposite side of the shore. Wanted to show that right there. The overgrown buffer, these plants here, the overgrown buffer here, that's actually the other side of the river. And this area here is some display area that the applicant is cleaning out just to remove some of the brush. There is an opening to the southern parcel of her applicant's sibling, but as well as there is a planted fence line. So now I am at the furthest portion of the parcel that abuts to her property. There's an arroyo that goes under Highway 185. Right across the road, you can actually see the applicant's residence. And then here's the campground behind the barn, and here's bales of hay. It's sort of nestled below that area. So it's behind that area. This is just the ridge, if you will, of that arroyo. My back is to the corner, and this is actually properties 12 and 14. I can show you we can actually scroll real quick. 12 and 14, my back is right there at that property line. And this is showing the arroyo, which is not the subject parcel, but this is the parcel that's butts up to it. And again, just kind of showing you where the campground is, like I said, nestled behind that area. Here is an area between the telephone poles at the end of the edge of the Rio Grande. This space is open. The applicant did say that she's about to connect the farm road that is beside the agricultural plot. So here's where the telephone poles will end. So ultimately, there will be a large line of telephone poles blocking off vehicular access to the river in that portion. This is the farm road north. There's no camping here. You can basically just sort of walk your pets or just take a stroll around the agricultural plot, but here it is fenced off. This is the area between the picnic area with the river and then the telephone poles in there, and she's about to connect to the farm road with the telephone poles. In other words, just creating that boundary between the river and the campsite. This is the gate at the end of the farm road. There's salt cedar removal that the applicant's removing. And then here is looking west toward 185. You can walk through here, but there's no camping in this site, on this area. Looking at the gate access, this is the, to the upper left-hand side is the northern gate at Highway 185. Then right across from that, I wanted to show that space in between the gate and the highway. And then this is the inaccessible agricultural farm gate, which is the northern part of the site. That's not being used for the campground, just the two ingress and egress gates down to the south. And then here's the entrance gate at the applicant's residence. Looking at the agricultural parcel, that's that space south of it. And then here, this is the only amenity. I wouldn't really call it amenity. It is, yes, it is a spigot. If you had a bucket to fill up with water, you could use this, but this is not mentioned on the site. And the electrical post with the pump house. Looking at the applicable plans and policies for the SUP and the overall criteria, 1 through 7. We're looking at potential traffic flows and the impacts. The client states that the existing gates are for ingress and egress. Both sides of the highway of 185 are owned by the applicant, so that she had mentioned many times that if an RV is too large to make that turn into the gate, which is 16 feet wide, they can turn out into her property and park there until they straighten it out to get in. So that's really helpful to have both sides owned by the owner. Traffic impacts would be minimal. All parking would occur on site, and the NMDOT did mention that a driveway permit will be required. Looking at the goals, decisional criteria for SUP, the need for commercial or residential activity and how it complies with the Plan 2040. The comp plan of Doña County and the request also supports the following goals and actions for Plan 2040. The goal G2.2 to ensure regulations support the plan requirements, and A2.2, action 2.2, to update codes to provide tools to support the appropriate physical structure. Continuing number 3, the potential for water and sewer needs and supporting documentation that showing the infrastructure is available to support the proposed use. The proposed use is tourism and recreation. The proposed use will not use any water or sewer since it is considered a primitive campground. Community development has recommended that a pack-in and pack-out policy to usage, sewage, and to litter needs. As well as number 4, there will be relatively to little no impact of the existing infrastructure since there is none on site. Access will be from Highway 185, which is a state maintained highway. And there's no evidence of negative impacts to sensitive areas, historical significance, or endangered or rare species of animals and plant life. It is also noted that the proposed campground is at the water's edge, which is classically known as a riparian edge, and then we do have comments that said from IBWC, which is that jurisdiction. And number 6, the decisional criteria, which is the impact of proposed SUP because of its size or intensity on surrounding properties and how it provides a positive impact to the adjacent properties, is not detrimental to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the neighbor residents. There's no significant impact to the adjacent properties for a primitive campground. The property is gated at Highway 185 and surrounded by 30 acres of farmland owned by the Horner Revocable Living Trust, and the fallow land to the south, which is owned by the submitted applicant, all which abut to the Rio Grande, as well as a significant portion across the shore to the campground. Fencing encompasses the entire subject property, but is open to the Rio Grande due to the laws prohibiting the fences crossing the rivers. And last, at the time of the building permits, any best practices that are identified will be noted and included in the reviews. Staff will work with the applicant and their contractor to ensure implementation of those practices. For analysis, staff analysis, the subject property is 29.92 acres zoned in a T2 rural zone, located between State Highway and the Rio Grande. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow a primitive campground at the southernmost tip of the subject parcel, as well as traffic impacts will be minimal and parking would be on site. Access will be from 185, a state-maintained highway. Our findings are that its property is outside of any incorporated municipal zoning authority, so therefore Doña County and the Planning and Zoning has jurisdiction to review this case, as well as the requested application is consistent with the requirements for the UDC. Public notices have been met and prescribed per the SUPC, as well as a pursuant to decisional criteria of the goals and actions, goal G2.2, to ensure regulations support plan requirements, as well as A2.2 to update codes to provide tools and support an appropriate physical structure. The SUP is appropriate as North Valley is a state-maintained highway that serves their property. So based on the findings of fact, staff analysis, agency comments, and recommends conditional approval on case SU 25053, a special use permit on a 29.92 acre parcel at a T2 for a primitive campground with the conditions of that the applicant shall establish a pack-in, pack-out policy for campground users. This brings us into my presentation. I have pictures, and the applicant is here today, and I yield for any questions for the staff.
Are there any questions of staff? before we go?
Chris,
Commissioner Zerniak.
Sir.
there were a number of violations that were mentioned. Have those all been corrected?
They will be corrected with this SUP. The not having a business registration is what brought us here today, but as well as she's left up, the applicant has left up the Airbnb online, but has not received any reservations. So therefore, the violations are still holding, but will be taken care of once the SUP, if the SUP is approved.
So it's sort of a chicken or the egg question. Why would we allow somebody a special use permit when she has outstanding violations?
We're trying to rid the property of violations. The business, yes, was operating without a business registration, but part of the understanding is that we'll help you come into compliance to allow the operation of the business.
Okay.
Many times we will have applicants come in that their neighbors have called on them, or they found out that they didn't know they needed business registration. This has been, she's had this for a little while before it was recognized, and therefore she wants to come into compliance and get the business registration for the property.
Other questions of staff? We hear from the applicant.
So you can go to any image if you want. I could go to any image you like. If not, they can just go and ask you questions. We're going to go right there.
I would like to address.
Good
your
morning.
question.
Morning.
Oh, I'm
Be
sorry.
sworn in.
Hi. Please raise your right hand and state your name and address for the record.
Carolyn Horner, 20805 North Valley Drive, Las Cruces, 88007.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Could I?
Please
ask your
repeat.
Question?
Please repeat your name into the mic, please.
Yes, Carolyn Horner. I did come in to get a business license, and I was told they had no business called campground. They were trying to get me to get a business license for an RV park. RV park had lots of requirements and amenities that I do not ever intend to provide. It's only a campground, a place where people can come, pitch a tent, spend the night, enjoy the river and the country and the night lights. So they wouldn't give me a business license because they only offered me RV park. And that's when they told me if it wasn't an RV park and I wasn't going to pursue that, then I had to shut my business down. I did have it listed on 2 sites. I did shut one of them down. The other one I did not shut down because it takes a lot of effort to get it on the listing. It had a lot of pictures, it had a lot of information, and I didn't want to have to recreate that once I got my issue with Doña County resolved. But I blocked off every month, every day of every month, so that no one could book it or list it. It was not advertised to be rented while I was dealing with the county. So the website is still up, but I'm not taking any bookings.
Okay. Other questions of the applicant?
Well, let me
Okay.
ask,
Go ahead.
these campers, is there a limit to the time of stay, how long they can stay?
Yes, I don't think I really ever want anybody to be there more than 1 week at a time, although I probably would put a longer period, but I doubt that I will get anybody that will book more than a few days.
Okay, so it would be a special circumstance.
Yes, Yes, if anyone wanted to be there for longer than a week, then I would want to discuss in detail why they wanted to stay so long. Are they on a long-term vacation, or have they quit their job, or whatever? But I don't want anybody squatting and thinking that they can just live there. This is not intended to be an RV park or even a primitive campground where people can come and stay forever. This is just for camping and then moving on.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. You mentioned this is all primitive, so I'm assuming there's no electricity
No.
for them.
No, there's no electricity and there's no piped water. The only thing I'm offering is a spigot. If they have a container and they want to fill up a container with water, they can, but they don't have any hookups at all. It literally is just a piece of dirt.
Yeah.
They can pitch a tent, park a car, even bring an RV in, but no hookups. They can just park their RV and spend the night there and then move on.
And so they're allowed to bring maybe their own generator?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Thank
Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What's the maximum number of campground or campsites would you have on this property?
The maximum number that I would be comfortable with is about 15.
Okay.
Other questions of the applicant? Okay, hearing none, can we hear from the other people here?
My brother's a little bit hard of hearing. I just want to hear what you have to say about the campground.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry,
Please raise your right hand and state your name and address for the record.
Amanda Bolschweiler.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law? Thank you.
Please repeat your name to the microphone.
Amanda Bolschweiler.
Go ahead.
I am her daughter, Carolyn's daughter, and I live actually right across from the campsite. So I think I'm the only property owner in the area that can actually see the site, other than my mom, from their house. So I'm also very vigilant about checking, to see who's out there. We have a lot of people that will pull over on the side of the road. So we're always looking out. I've got 2 kids, I'm very diligent about safety. So I'm another set of eyes for the campground.
Thank you. Questions?
Do you have any concerns?
No, not at all.
Yes, my name is Ted Horner. I am Carolyn's brother.
Wait.
Please raise your right hand, state your name and address for the record.
Yes,
Say your name and address.
Ted Horner, 11563 North Valley Drive.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead. You have comments on this case?
I'm Carolyn's brother, and I own the property, that adjoins the area in question. And I don't have any problem with anything she wants to do there.
Okay. Any questions?
I gather that in the past you have had campers on the site, is that correct? Yes. Have you had any problems with any previous campers, Mr. Horner?
Have you had any problem with any previous campers?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. There's no one here in opposition, so I guess we're open for a motion.
Me too.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Zerniak?
I'm going to move for conditional approval for SU 25-053 based on findings of fact, staff input. But I have 6 conditions that I'd like to place on. Beside the one that county staff indicated, the applicant shall establish a pack-in, pack-out policy for campground users. I'd like to add the following: a 1-year limit to the special use permit to be reviewed by the county zoning for compliance If approved, a biannual review will occur. Next, all violations have been, at the time of review, all violations have been rectified and remain in compliance. All agency review criteria have been met. The third one, meet the county noise ordinance. The next one, maintain property in a clean and orderly manner. And finally, a maximum of 15 campsites.
Okay, discussion on the amendments. Or other conditions. Go ahead.
Yeah, at the time of review, 1 year from when the special use permit is issued, all violations that are listed have been rectified and remain in compliance. All agency review criteria have been met. And that's at the time of the 1-year review. Right.
Okay, go ahead. Ma'am,
Come up to the mic.
come up to the mic.
1-year review, is that reapplying for a new special use permit every year?
No.
Okay, so I don't have to pay the fee every year? Okay, it's just a review before the board
It's,
or with the
as
staff?
I understood Commissioner Zerniak's,
Okay,
Just to make
adding,
sure that,
there's a
just to make sure
1 year,
your
there will be a
visitors.
1-year review.
I just didn't want to have to pay for the
No,
permit
there'll be a
annually.
1-year review. All your violations have to be done in that period of time. And then after that, there will be every other year,
Oh, okay,
there will be a review to make
That's fine.
sure that we're still in compliance and that you're okay.
I understand.
Okay, anything else? Commissioner Fisher, do you have?
Well, I was going to say, because you're by the river, we want to make sure that all of the trash and everything is in
Sure.
fact being picked up
Sure.
and taken out.
Sure.
And
I live there. I want to make
recognize
sure
you
that
don't have
that looks
sanitation
nice too.
facilities. You don't have sanitation facilities, so,
Nope.
you know, we just need to make sure that it stays.
I understand.
Other comments from staff? Okay. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Zerniak, second by Commissioner Lear, with, for conditional approval of case SU 25-053, with the additional conditions as set out by Commissioner Zerniak. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Uranga,
Yes.
Commissioner Lear,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Acosta,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zerniak,
Yes.
and Chair Zarges.
Yes. Motion passes. Congratulations. Administrative approvals? Morning, Albert.
I don't think the map's online, but you guys can just look at your packet. But for the month of December, there were 53 residential building permits that were approved. 16 of those were new single-family homes. We had about 27 solar applications, and those are just, your residential additions, to your rooftops or, out on the side. 67 electrical permits, 45 plumbing, 15 mobile home installation permits, 4 additions to cell towers. They basically fall under minor modifications, because they're just replacing equipment. And then we had 3 commercial building permits. Total fees that were taken in for those building permits were $42,251.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you, Albert. Okay, staff input.
Chair, one more comment. There were a lot of questions about when to reapply, if you guys were wishing to, still keep on serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So the posting won't be on the Sun News until the end of March. And so you'll get an email from Denise or Eileen, just reminding you to submit your letter of intent. So it'll be, we have a couple more weeks for that.
Who's up?
Do you have a list? We talked about it at the last meeting, but I don't have the. I guess we'll send you guys out an email. I think it was 4 out of the 7, so.
4 this year, or I thought it was 3.
3, okay, yeah, so 3 out of the 7.
Okay. Okay. Commission input.
Chair. Christine, this is a question for you. This idea of putting a time limit on special use permits is something relatively new. I think we've done it a couple times. Is there some standard time that we should be putting on special use permits without burdening county staff to the point that they can't make these reviews?
I think for now, there really isn't a reason to, I guess there really isn't a standard. It's only been a handful of cases, and so they're pretty easy to track. If we were to get to a point where we had so many that we needed to track, then we might try to find a regular schedule where we can go out and review them. But I think for now, we can treat it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Thank you. Other comments or questions from the commission? Okay. Hearing nothing, I'll take motion for adjournment.
I motion we adjourn.
Second?
Moved by Commissioner Fisher, second by Commissioner Lear. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstentions. Thank you, people. We're out of here.